Sixers fans, welcome back to Saturday Mornings with Greg Melly. It's too early for me, just naturally, so I'm gonna ramble on for a couple of minutes. If you guys like the video, like the video. If not, don't judge me on it. This is not my normal content. Let's get into the video. The Sixers got absolutely trounced by the Brooklyn Nets by 29 points, but they also beat a pretty solid Chicago Bulls team at almost to near full strength and full health. And I think there's a couple things we can take out from both games. One, Joel Embiid is an absolute utter monster in every sense of the word. He had like 42 points against Chicago. He is what Ben Simmons is to the New York Knicks, to the Chicago Bulls. He is literally their father. It's crazy. But the game against Brooklyn, it's really unfortunate for a lot of different reasons. I think I get frustrated that a team with a game that is as important as that game is and everything leading up to it, the narrative of how big it is and how everybody's going to be watching it, it can come out so sluggish the way they did. I think so much of it goes up to coaching. I just think Doc Rivers you're not a good coach if your team can't come out to play in big games like that. And, maybe it's not even the coach's fault. Maybe there's so much going on. I think a lot of times blaming a coach is just a poor excuse. And it's an easy scapegoat that fan bases use. So I try to be a little more reclusive, but I just feel like it's on the coach for getting a team ready, and they were not ready. They were not good. They were cold. But at the same time, let's not overreact. You know what I mean? I hate all of these narratives now, like media, social media, and like Twitter and ESPN of everything saying James Harden's washed. The Sixers suck. The duo is done. It doesn't work. Harden can't play in the playoffs. This can't do that. Embiid can't score if he's not shooting free throws. I'm tired of it. We're overreacting to one regular season game, but nobody mentioned anything at all that the Sixers were 5-0 leading up to that game against, two really, really good teams and, a couple other games. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me because I don't understand the overreaction. People are already are losing their mind of how bad they think the Sixers are. And even Sixers fans are just going on about how they don't think they're going to be able to trust Harden. First of all, we don't know if we're going to be able to trust the guy because we've never seen him in the playoffs with our own eyes playing for our team's jersey. So let's give the man a break and let, time tell what's going to happen. I can't stand the fact that we're just judging a human being based on their past performances. Because first of all, I hate to break it to you, everybody out there, James Harden is a seriously legit basketball player in the playoffs. His last 25 games, he's averaging over 30 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds a night on 1.8 steals on 45, 36, and 90. I mean, that's pretty incredible basketball, if you would ask me. And that's his last 25 games. So this big narrative that goes around James Harden and his playoff performances is very inaccurate. It genuinely is inaccurate. Also to the fact that just because he's had some really, really bad games in the playoffs, then all of a sudden he is this terrible playoff performer. It's kind of like the whole Kobe Bryant narrative. People think Kobe was this incredible playoff player, when in reality he's one of historically the worst fourth quarter players in playoff history. And with the last 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, he is the worst player in NBA history, shooting percentage. So just remember that. Just try and remember these things before you let other people try and tell you what your opinion should or should not be, because it's frustrating to me. It really, really is frustrating. I can't even go on Twitter right now without reading people thinking the Nets won the trade. Tell me how the Nets won the trade when Ben Simmons still hasn't played a game yet. James Harden went 3 of 17 yesterday, and you know what's crazy? That's still better than Ben Simmons. He still had a better game than Ben Simmons. That man has not even... He came to Philadelphia to simply file a grievance because he wanted the Philadelphia fans to just rip into him. That's a guy that you traded a top 15 player for. There's absolutely no way the Nets won that trade. I don't care. I can't believe people are saying Ben Simmons' revenge game, this, that, this. Simmons did not play. The dude wore a Louis Vuitton hockey jersey. I would rather have James Harden go 3 of 17 for my team every single day rather than have Ben Simmons pretending that he gives a shit about the sport of basketball. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that didn't forget what Ben Simmons brought to this team. Or what should I say, didn't bring to this team. I don't know. If James Harden goes 3 of 17 in the fourth quarter against the Atlanta Hawks in Game 7 last year, we win that series. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. James Harden is that much better than Ben Simmons will ever be. So I don't want to see people saying that the Nets won the trade after the 7th game after the deal. It's insane to me. It is genuinely insane that the conclusions that we jump to after one game, whether good or bad, it's just like, let the trade ride out. What I've said from the beginning of this trade, as soon as it went down, I said the one thing we have to learn is not to just jump ship on this trade and say, you know what, it's either a win or a loss. Let the trade play its course. Let the Sixers play in the playoffs. Let the Nets play in the playoffs. Let's see what happens with them, okay? The Nets are a really good team. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are really, really good. And you know what's crazy? Even if James Harden played a lot better, we're still probably losing that game because nobody played well tonight, or last night, or 2 nights ago. Embiid was the closest thing to playing well, and he went, 5 of 17 from the field? He just had a lot of free throws that he made, which leads me to the fact that nobody other than Nuggets fans hated on Joel Embiid before James Harden came to Philly, but now all of a sudden that Harden's in Philly, it's like Joel Embiid is the most overrated player in the NBA. And I hate it. Like, it's so uneducated, and it's so ridiculous. And I've come to the point where if the Sixers win a championship this year, it will be the most hated championship ever won, and it will also be probably the biggest underdog story of all time. And I'm here for it. That's what I'm writing out now. I just want this team to just prove every single person on social media wrong, and I also want every single person to hate Philadelphia that much more because we have a championship. That's my video. Peace.